Welcome to our in-service on Pinball Wizardry. This overview will help you understand the components of oral and written language processing and their interaction with each other. This in-service is done by Allison, Hannah, Ashley, Lydia, and Nicole. So what is the Pinball Wizardry model? It is a schematic model of spoken and written language processing in the brain. A tool used to assist in decision-making for what to do next for children with difficulties. It focuses on the integration of systems that are involved in meaningful communication and represents complex neural mechanisms used when engaging in spoken and written language tasks. It is set in non-linguistic and linguistic contexts and represents contributions from integrated systems of 4 specific types. Those 4 specific types are as follows. Cognitive linguistic knowledge systems. These include graphophonemic, syntactic, and semantic, as well as word knowledge, pragmatic, and discourse knowledge. Peripheral processing skills, such as sensory and motor systems for bringing and sending information. Central processing skills, like working memory, while analyzing, decoding, encoding, forming associations, conducting storage and retrieval operations, as well as relating information to multiple levels of meaning. And lastly, metacognitive strategies. These are conscious executive decisions to pay attention and regulate other processes to achieve communicative purposes. This is what the Pinball Wizardry model looks like. On the left side of the model, you'll see the phonological, semantic, and syntactic knowledge systems. On the right side of the model, you'll see discourse and pragmatic knowledge systems. And in the center of the model, you'll see the construction of meaning. This is similar to the setup of the brain. The little arrows in between are all of the different central processing skills running to and from each of these different categories. 4 questions are asked when using the Pinball Wizardry model. When using for assessing, think about what does the curricular context require and what does the student currently do. During intervention, think about what might the student learn to do differently and how should the task be modified or scaffolded. The left hemisphere systems include semantic knowledge, which is all about the word meaning, syntactic knowledge, all about the structure of words and phonemes, and graphophonemic knowledge, the combination of writing for all of the different sounds that you hear. Semantic knowledge contains figurative meaning, event relations, case relations, and lexical relations, and those definitions are provided for you. Syntactic knowledge is going to contain things like sentence relations, sentence combining, sentence structures, and grammatical morphemes. Again, those definitions are provided for you. Graphophonemic knowledge is going to contain words, syllables and morphemes, and sound-syllable association. Examples are provided for you. Right hemisphere systems contain different things. These include world and prior knowledge, which is another way to say what a person has been exposed to. Pragmatic knowledge is how language is used with different people in different places. Discourse knowledge is spoken or written and according to a social set of rules or expectations that's very context-driven. World and prior knowledge is going to include schemas, categories, and inferences. Pragmatic knowledge is going to include the author's intention, audience information, topic management, and contextual variation. Discourse knowledge will include scripts, story grammar, text cohesion, and formats. When thinking about the brain and the Pinball Wizardry model, you can think of it as outside coming in and inside coming out. When outside information is coming in, sensory and motor information is processed in the brain. Executive functioning abilities organize and prioritize the incoming information. Working memory and active processing networks draw on stored knowledge across the brain to process and create responses. When the inside comes out, the language processing from the left hemisphere of the brain and pragmatic processing from the right hemisphere of the brain are integrated to make meaning out of those outgoing messages. Language can also be bottom-up or top-down. Upper-level comprehension and cognitive processes awaiting arrival of perceptually processed input is an example of bottom-up. This occurs when lower-level speech and language aspects are targeted in order to reach the complex, high-level aspects of speech and language. For example, this means starting at the sound level to teach children to read and having them sound the words out as they progress so that they can learn to decode accurately. Eventually, this will lead to the child reading at a more rapid rate while having high comprehension of the content. On the other hand, top-down is a perception and reception benefit from cognitive guidance. This process starts with more complex items and breaks them down as you progress. An example would be looking at words as a whole and learning the words, sight words, as a whole, or it could consist of knowing that certain combinations of letters make certain sounds. T-I-O-N is going to sound like shun. Here's a case study of Johnny, a 10-year-old boy who has academic difficulties. He often gets into fights on the playground and struggles to interact with others in the classroom. He is often in other people's personal space and has difficulty staying on topic. How can you apply the concepts from the Pinball Wizardry model we just discussed to this student? Remember the 4 questions. What does this curricular context require? What does the student currently do? What might the student learn to do differently? And how should the task be modified or scaffolded? An activity to help with this further has you breaking up into 2 groups. Each group will receive either copy A or copy B of a story. One story will be missing character names and locations. The other story will be missing adjectives and adverbs. Work together to complete the story and find the missing information or gaps. To do this, ask questions and work together to write in the missing information. The key to this is that you're pretending to be a student who has academic difficulties or holes in their Pinball Wizardry model. Pick a section that is going to showcase what you have difficulty with, and continue to have that difficulty as you're interacting with each other, asking questions, and filling in the missing information or gaps. This could include being deaf, being blind, being colorblind, or any of the other areas of the Pinball Wizardry model. Good luck!